Welcome to the editorial desk of Okeogun Multimedia Tv. An editorial is a type of article that expresses the opinion of a newspaper, magazine, or media organization on a particular issue or topic. The topic of this editorial is all regions are equal, or some are more equal than the other. And the focus is marginalization of Okeogun, Ibarapa, Oyo, and Ogbomoso in Oyo State politics. My name is Favor Adewoyin for Okeogun Multimedia TV. When George Orwell penned Animal Farm, he captured a bitter truth of human society: the tendency of power to corrupt and entrench inequality. The pigs who led the animal revolution, once comrades in the struggle for justice, eventually crowned themselves overlords, declaring all animals are equal, or some animals are more equal than the others. Today, this allegorical line echoes disturbingly within the political corridors of Oyo State, the self-styled pace-setter state. In the theater of statecraft and governance, Ibadan, the state capital and largest city, has come to wield overwhelming dominance at the expense of our sister regions, Okeogun, Ibarapa, Oyo, and Ogbomoso. This despite their joint contribution to the making of modern Oyo State. These zones remain marginalized, excluded, underrepresented, and undeserved. There is what we can call the illusion of equality. Like the animals in Orwell's Animal Farm, who believed they had achieved freedom and equity after the revolution, the people of Oyo State began their political journey with the hope of mutual respect, fair representation, and shared development. But as time passed, the hope dimmed. What exists now is a lopsided concentration of power, appointments, infrastructure, and attention, overwhelmingly skewed towards Ibadan. This has fostered discontent, resentment, and a growing feeling of internal colonialism within the state. Now, let us take the marginalized regions one after the other, with a view to examining their strength to prove that each of them can also produce the governor of Oyo State. Number one, Okeogun has strength without power. Located in the northern part of the state, Okeogun can boast of vast agricultural wealth and a large, vibrant, and dynamic population. It is one of the most reliable voting blocks in every election cycle. Yet, it has never produced an elected governor in the history of Oyo State. Roads remain impassable, state institutions are minimal, and infrastructural presence is disheartening. The region, which contributes immensely to the food basket of the state, has been reduced to a political outpost, consulted only during elections and ignored once power is secured. In Orwellian terms, Okeogun is the boxer, the ever-loyal, hard-working horse betrayed by those he helped to uplift. Ibarapa and Oyo are voices in the wilderness. In the western zone lies Ibarapa, a region with a rich history and proud identity. Yet it remains a political afterthought, with scant representation in strategic offices and limited developmental projects to show for decades of loyalty to Oyo State. Oyo Town. Oyo, home of the ancient empire that gave the state its name, is another paradox. Revered for its heritage, yet routinely sidelined in budget allocations and political appointments. The grandeur of the past has not translated into present relevance. Its sons and daughters ask a simple question: what has Oyo done for Oyo lately? Ogbomoso is a diminished giant. Ogbomoso, the second largest city in Oyo State, has long been a vital part of the state's economic and intellectual ecosystem. With a deep political heritage and strong electoral clout, one would expect equitable reward. But the city, once a bastion of political relevance, is now a bystander, watching as its fortunes dwindle while the seat of power remains firmly ensconced in Ibadan. Yes, Ogbomoso has done it once, but the true picture is that major state projects often bypass Ogbomoso. Institutions decay from lack of funding, political roles are offered sparingly and often tokenistic. In a nutshell, the summary of Oyo politics can be described as an unequal federation. Defenders of the status quo frequently argue that Ibadan's dominance is a function of its size and population. But that logic is dangerous and short-sighted. Democracy is not only a numbers game alone. It is also about equity, inclusiveness, and fairness. Not truly progressive state can justify a model where one region monopolizes governorship, major commissioner roles, chairmanship of state boards, infrastructural investment, and access to federal patronage, while other zones are left scrambling for leftovers. When imbalance becomes institutionalized, democracy becomes dictatorship by demographics. We have to do all to set the right pace, and this is what Ẹgbẹ́ Àjọṣepọ̀ fún Ìtẹ̀síwájú Gbogbo Wa, G22 Renewed, Coalition Group, and some other associations are doing to call for governorship power rotation in Oyo State. It is good to remind ourselves that the founding vision of Oyo State was unity in diversity, a union of proud people working together to build a modern state. But this dream cannot be realized without deliberate restructuring of political arrangements and resource allocation. So, it is time to correct historical and systemic imbalances. It is time to chart a new path forward, one that includes all regions as equal stakeholders, not just in rhetoric, but in real terms. What is the way forward is a good question to ask at this juncture. To heal the fractures within Oyo State, the following must be prioritized. Number one, zoning of governorship and key offices. Power should rotate equitably among all zones. Number two, proportional infrastructure development. Budget allocation must reflect the needs and population of all regions fairly. Number three, equitable political arrangements or appointments. No region should dominate strategic ministries or agencies. Number four, inclusive governance. Policy making must involve voices from all localities. Number five, civic awakening in neglected regions. Okeogun, Ibarapa, Oyo and Ogbomoso must organize, mobilize, and demand justice with one voice. In conclusion, Orwell's Animal Farm warns us what happens when power is unchecked and shared dreams are hijacked by self-interest. Oyo State must take heed. If the state is to live up to its pace-setting title, then it must set the pace in justice, fairness, and inclusivity. A structure that privileges one region over others cannot stand the test of time because it breeds bitterness, disengagement, and eventually rebellion. The time to act is now. For your state to move forward, all animals must truly be equal. Finally, this editorial reflects the view of the editorial board of Okeogun Multimedia Tv, and it calls for immediate and deliberate reforms in the political and development architecture of Oyo State to ensure equity and inclusivity for all regions. This is a good point to bid you goodbye, as I wish you better moments ahead in the course of the year as we watch events unfold towards our journey to 2027, when we shall be expecting another period that the baton of leadership will change in many states of Nigeria, including Oyo State. Bye for now. My name is Favor Adeboye.